Hey, welcome to the Riverside. This is Avett's story about the bank swallows. Ever since I was a little puppy, I've enjoyed watching and chasing birds. Since I'm only 10 pounds, birds are one of the few species of animals that are consistently smaller than me. I know there are exceptions like the turkey, but overall, most birds are smaller than I am. Throughout the days, I will often sit on the back of the couch looking out the window to see what kinds of birds are hanging out in the yard, just to have something to do. I learned early on that it's pointless to try to catch a bird because they somehow are able to sense you coming, and then they take flight and get away easily. So I've resigned myself to be a bird watcher. There are so many different kinds of birds and so many different sizes and shapes. I think I've told you that Whitaker likes to sit on the edge of the riverbank to be able to see all the things that are going on beside the river. Sometimes I'll join him because the view is really outstanding when you stand on the edge. This morning we were rewarded for being right on the edge of the river because we got to see bank swallows doing some aerial acrobatics over the surface of the river. It was really pretty amazing to watch as they changed directions so quickly, only centimeters from the surface of the river. Then they'd elevate themselves before quickly making dives. I was getting a little dizzy trying to keep my eyes on these little birds. Whitaker and I must have sat on the edge of the river for at least a half an hour, and I was mesmerized by this activity. Then they did something that kind of scared me the first time because they were flying so fast right at me, and then they disappeared just below us. I kept expecting them to dart back out, but when I looked back down the riverbank, they were nowhere to be seen. It's like they'd vanished in midair. I asked Whitaker if he knew where they were, and he told me they were bank swallows that make their nests inside the riverbank. I tried to look down the bank of the river to see their nest, but there was nothing there. Whitaker told me that they make a hole inside the bank, and from where we were sitting, it was hard to see. He suggested we go down to the river so we'd have a better view of the hole. Whitaker took a ball over to Jig and dropped it so Jig would throw it in the river. When Jig got up and started walking towards the river, I lost my mind and totally forgot we were going to see the hole for the bank swallow. Now I just wanted Jig to throw me a stick so I could swim. I couldn't contain my excitement and kept yelling, "Throw me a stick! Throw me a stick!" Jig threw the ball for Whitaker first, and then he threw me a stick. When Whitaker and I returned to the bank with his ball and I my stick, he asked me if I saw the hole. "What hole?" I asked. He reminded me that we were looking for the hole of the bank swallow, and we were just trying to get Jig to throw the stuff in so it wouldn't look so conspicuous when we went down into the river. I have no idea what the word conspicuous means, but like I said before, I love it when Whitaker uses these big words. I wish I could go to school so I could learn all these big words too. So Whitaker brought the ball to Jig again, and once again Jig started walking towards the path that leads down to the river. And once again I lost my mind and started barking the same thing over and over again. By the time he threw the ball for Whitaker and the stick for me, all I could think of was going to get the stick. So when Whitaker and I met on the bank of the river, and again he asked if I'd seen the hole, again I said, "What hole?" He then reminded me of the bank swallow we had been watching and how it had flown into the hole in the bank right below us. So Whitaker grabbed his ball again and brought it to Jig and told me to remember to keep my focus and to look for the hole. But when I see Jig walking to the river with a ball and a stick, I can't think of anything but getting the stick from the river. This time, Whitaker didn't get out of the river and waited for me to return to the path where we climb out. He asked me if I saw the hole, and I admitted I forgot to look again. He told me to drop the stick and let the current take it for a second before swimming after it. I did this, and just as I grabbed the stick, he reminded me to look up to see the hole. It was hidden just on the other side of the honeysuckle plant that grows on the bank, so you have to be in the water to see it. I was rewarded because at the time I was there, I saw the hole. One of the bank swallows emerged and made a dive for a bug right near me. It said, "Nice swimming, little eye," as it swooped past me. On its next swoop past, I tried to ask it what it was doing, but its movements were too fast and I couldn't get its attention. Its movements were so fast, and from the river it was really hard to keep track of where it was flying. I rejoined Whitaker on the riverbank and watched the bank swallow put on a show for us. Thanks for listening.